Hey, 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 fellow children of the light, welcome. I am back after a very turbulent approximately 6.5, 7 weeks now. But I am back, and I will try to keep this video very short and concise. But I'd like to give you a short recap in hopes that it offers hope and help to other people. Approximately 6.5, 7 weeks ago, everything just decided that it was going to happen. And it started off with the apartment that I live in has been up for sale. It's a historic building that was redone into apartments. The building was like 1800 something. So it's been on the market the whole time that I've lived here, and which means that there has been people coming in and out of my apartment for the past 2 years, probably at least once every 2 weeks, if not once or twice a week. So, and I'm a Cancer, and it's all about my home and my space, and I do not like my space invaded. So that's rough in and of itself. But so about 6.5, 7 weeks ago, the apartment or the building sold, and the new owners got it. And ever since then, they have been ripping siding off, shingles off, gutters off, replaced, like redoing the whole building. And it is, as I speak, is still shaking and moving and whatnot. So that began. Shortly after that, about a week after construction began, some financial things came up and said, yeah, this is going to happen, and just deal with it, make a choice. So that was extremely tough. And then the heat wave came here for like 3 days, and I'm glad that I made the choice to do without one thing, which was the internet, and keep on the electricity, because I don't have air conditioning, but I did have fans and electricity for the heat wave. So very grateful for critical thinking. And that was all okay. Went shopping about like another week after that. That was during the heat wave. That's right. I went shopping. I got a ride to go get my groceries. Got all my things in up here. P.S. I live on the 3rd floor. Got all my groceries for like the month, all the way up here, and found out I locked myself out of my apartment, guys. Yeah, I locked myself out of the apartment in a heat wave, all right? And all my groceries are out there, and I frantically call the new landlord, and they're out of town camping somewhere. So I had to wait in the hall in the heat with all my stuff for like 2.5 hours until arrangements were but I got in. Okay, so that I made it through that. The next, a week goes by, they're doing construction, and people are literally on my roof looking in. They're now eye level with every window in my apartment. So now I'm, if you will, getting crabby, right? Cancer, I'm getting so crabby because now all of my privacy is taken away. And I'm like, oh, good Lord, you people are here from like 6 o'clock peeking in oh my God. So, okay, that's going, let me rewind. Let me rewind all the way back to about, like 5 weeks ago. Yeah, because it's just stopping. In between this, I'm like, gosh, something must have bit me. So, what bit me? And I'm itching, something itching on my hip line, right? Around my waistband. I'm like, ooh, something bit me. A couple of days goes by, and that stops itching. But now the same type of itching, there's another portion that's close to that area, but it's a whole new mark, and it's itching. And I'm like, what is that? And I go on for a couple of days. And now that goes away. But now another patch, the original patch starts itching again. And then another patch comes out. And I'm like, wait a minute. And I go and do my own little self-diagnosis. And it appears that even though I'm only 49, not quite 50 yet, I have broke out in a mild case of shingles. So now I got shingles in the heat wave and people peeking in my window. And I'm like, wow. And like my internet, oh yeah, So then the internet gets shut off that morning. You guys, whoever knows by watching that video, internet gets shut off. But before the internet gets shut down, I get a notification that I get a second copyright strike, and they're getting ready to shut my whole channel down. And the two copyright strikes have nothing to do with one another. They have nothing to do with music. There are like small clips, like small, not replicated, mirrored videos but small clips of things that one hasn't had zero views in 2 months, but somehow the owner of that video found it with not being, I don't know, searched through all 200 some videos and found that one little 2-minute clip of their stuff and striked it. But now, like, I'm in jeopardy of losing all of those videos and all of my work. So, I've been uploading, and now I have the extra channel. So I'll talk about that later. But anyway, yeah, so I'm like, what? Copyright strike? This is it. And one was a chemtrail video that was on private. So I don't know how I got a copyright strike on something that was on private. Don't know how it got back up on public. But at any rate, so yeah, I was like, what? And I'm itching and scratching, and people are looking in my window, and it's, still warm up here. And all of a sudden, I'm like, what? Copy strike? No, I didn't back up any of my videos. No. And then all of a sudden, my internet goes, what? No internet connection. And I'm like, what? No. So, that all went on. And, yeah, then some personal things happened around me, friends, people who I care about. Their whole world came crashing down, which means that my whole world came crashing down because, if I love you and I bring you into my fold, well, whatever happens to you is happening to me. So now, like, I thought the shingles were gone at, like, week 4, but the past week now, they're like, no, we're really not supposed to leave until 3 to 5 weeks, so we're going to hang in for another week. And so the shingles just went away. But then my body goes, hey, remember that you're diagnosed with lupus, systematic lupus, and immune disorder. So we think something's really messed up. So now my erytheum nodosum, which are little red lumps that pop up in your extremities, they're painful. Now they've decided to come out and make an appearance. And I'm taking it all in stride. I'm telling you all of this because, honestly, I want to offer hope to people. Like a phoenix, I have been through so much in my life. This is how my life has been. It's like, what? Everything at once. And just like the phoenix out of the ashes, I rise every time, and I'm stronger. And then each time, you guys, time that you go through things, when more stuff comes, like I just told you about, all of that at once, all of that repetitively, it's not so bad. It's not so bad at all. All you do is honestly just follow like a process. You go, okay, let me sit down and think about what I can physically do as a human being. I can do this and I can do this, and then you do that. You do everything that you can physically possibly do all at once, utilize all your energy, and you do that in a like 1 day or 1 shot, 2-day process. Then you give it away. You give it away to the goodness and say, my intent and my purpose is not evil, it is good, and I believe that the good will control it, and it's going to happen. Then you got to let go of it, because otherwise nothing else in your life is going to, you're just going to keep it and it's going to fester. But when you start doing that, like repetitively, easily, like, meh, what are you going to do? Oh, well, next thing. Then more comes and gets laid into your lap and tests you further. Like, oh, that wasn't a struggle. So how about if we add this on top of that? Now is it a struggle? And the more that you go, meh, not so much, and laugh your way through it and say, what are you going to do? I've already physically done everything that I can do about the situation. Can't think about it anymore. And honestly, feeding into negative thinking, and that's just going to bring me down. Let me just move on. Let me ride the wave. I'm in a boat on a river. I can't stop the ride. And if I try to, it's going to make it worse. So I just learned to navigate my boat. Just navigate all those boulders that are there. Up, quick, lean right. Quick, lean right. Yeah, there you go. Navigated around it. All good. Gonna be okay. Now I wrapped it up. I know it was 10 minutes, but I'm going to share something with you because this whole 6.5 weeks, now I'm entering my 7th week, and honestly, all of that came to an abrupt end on my last Sabbath, which was just yesterday. Yeah, it was just yesterday. Everything came flooding to me. Questions that I've been asking for months and months to understand the connections to, all came flooding to me. And ironically, the whole entire time of the 6 weeks, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, kept repeating in my head over and over and over again. And I was like, yeah, I know. I know. And my brain said, no, you don't know. Go and pull that up and go read it. And when I did, I read it, but what I read are not the same words that are in the Bible and the text that we read. So that I want to share my interpretation of what I saw when I read, "The Lord is my shepherd." Quickly, I would like to ask you, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, click the bell so you get notifications, hit the like, and share. Also, make sure that you go and subscribe to the backup channel, Arc 2 channel, because honestly, at any moment, that third copyright strike can come in, and that's it. Like all my videos, all this is just shut down and wiped away. So the only way that you'll see any more is if you go find me on that channel. Okay, this is what kept coming to me over the past 6.5 weeks, and just yesterday, I guess the veil was opened up, and all of this came flooding to me. And like I said, I just kept hearing the first verse of this throughout the past, weeks. And my mind said, go read it. I said, okay. So I went and I pulled it up, and I the first thing that caught me was Psalm. I knew it was in the book of Psalm, and I thought, and that's always, since a child, been my favorite book because I love poetry and I write poetry. And then I was like, and look at that, it's magic number 23, Kathy, and that's your favorite number. 7 and 23 are my favorite numbers, but 23 is also the day of my birth, and in numerology it means change. So I was like, that's pretty nice. And I read it. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. And thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, and my cup runneth over. So surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And this is the image that I was brought up thinking that this was the image of my Lord. I was supposedly this helpless little lamb that's here. And I was duped. I was fooled. I was like this little lamb being led to slaughter. Exactly like a little lamb, knowing nothing, just following the people in front of me and what I was being fed. So I have to tell you that when I just opened up in between switching from that last screen that I showed you, just the verse when I was talking, when I pulled this up, I literally have sat here for about 20 minutes looking at it and asking myself, is this the same stuff that you were supposed to be talking about, or is this something different? I literally do not remember now writing down my interpretation of Psalms 23. So I am glad that it's written down, because I just pulled it up and read it, and I went, yeah, don't remember writing any of that. And it took me like 20 minutes to convince myself that yes, Kathy, that's what happened yesterday. So I just kind of like went through a time warp. But this is the image that we've always been given, is this right here. And I was duped by it too, given all my power and all of my energy outward to some unknown false image is what this is. Because this is matter, M-A-T-T-E-R, flesh and bone, matter. You can feel it, touch it, see it, smell it, hear it. All of that means that this is corruptible. We're corruptible because we're in flesh suits. This image is corruptible. This is not where we should be focusing our energy. This is focusing our energy on an outside force that we, in our imaginations, we don't. And this is the picture that we see. And this isn't even a right picture. This is a picture of some guy in like the 1600s, some king's son that he had him paint the picture. His name's like something Borghini or Bordini or something, some Italian dude. This isn't what the 30 AD Isis looked like. Not at all. But at any rate, this is not it. This is a false image. So if we must focus on an image when we're speaking about the Lord being my shepherd, now this is more appropriate. It's not actually your brain that is your Lord, but it is the process that your brain does. Lord means your teacher. It means your master or your teacher or your leader. What teaches you? It's your teacher. And your brain is where all of the knowledge and all of the information and all of the teaching go wrong. So if you must focus on an image, this is what you want to focus on. Inside of you, deep in here, right in the center, is where light is coming from, and that's where we need to focus it. Now, there are two lights. There's the soul light, which is your soul or your sun, but that's not really the light that would be like worshiping yourself if you were worshiping your soul. No, there's another light, and it's the light of righteousness, or truth, and all of that, the spirit that comes in that you need to dwell in. But at any rate, if you have to picture something and have an image, like the stuff that's going on within here is what you need to do. All right, so I'm going to go verse by verse of what the yellow is what I saw, or the words that popped out to me when I actually read the scripture. So I'm just going to take you through one by one. And before I start, let me say, this isn't about self-worship either. The light that we're to be worshiping or focusing all of our energy to, it is within us. It is within us, but it isn't just us. We're like a tiny little piece, a little refraction of the main light that I'm talking about. But we have access to it, and we can flood our being with that the light of all, which is truth and goodness. Because there's a false light, because light can mean truth, but I'm talking about the light that is goodness. Yes, truth is good, but I can't really, I'm not going to go much further. Okay, The Lord, and I already went through that, the Lord means your teacher. Okay, so the mind, my teacher, is my protector, my shepherd. A shepherd feeds and protects. The mind feeds you and protects you. I shall not lack anything, and I mean mentally, spiritually, or physically. Indeed, I like to call it mind magic. It is all within, and if you can tap into it, yes. So the Lord is my shepherd, the mind is my teacher, my protector. I shall not want, I shall not lack anything. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He maketh me rest in love. Green is heart chakra. It's love. It means life. It means birth. It means renewal. Green is like all, it's earth, air, sun, water, all together. Photosynthesis. Green means birth, renewal, life, love. So he maketh me to rest in love, life, renewal, rebirth. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He leadeth me in a calm spirit. Deep, calm spirit. A peaceful, calm spirit. He restoreth my soul. He restoreth my light within, my good, pure light within. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for righteousness' namesake, for the good, the namesake of goodness and righteousness. Now, this is the actual part of this 6-verse chapter in Psalm that kept getting repeated for these past 6.5 weeks. It was, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, and thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. And that's what got me thinking, the rod and the staff. And I said, aren't they the same thing? And I said, well, could be the same thing, but no, because they are split apart and they're written like that on purpose to differentiate that they're speaking about two different things. So that's what really opened me up. And I was like, a rod? Well, what is a rod for? That you beat off people, beat people back, or use it, to walk with, or, So, and then I said a staff, well, that means that you're like a king or royalty or something. You got a staff, you got power. So that's what got me into all of this. My interpretation. Yes, even though I am traveling through the low areas, the dark areas of darkness and of ignorance, and through trials and tribulations and hurdles, I will fear no evil. For my mind, my teacher, and my protector are always within me. Thy discipline and protection, thy rod, thy protection of being disciplined, disciplining the mind and the body, gives me protection. And by having that discipline, therefore, I get a staff, which is power. So my protection through discipline, self-discipline, gives me power. And through that power, I have peace in every circumstance that I come across. Dig down deep, dig down, just like the phoenix. Dig down, and you gather up them ashes and burst forth. Thou preparest my table. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies, or my trials and tribulations, the things that get thrown in front of me. Thou preparest a firm foundation, or a strength, for which I can lean on, and that's that discipline that I was talking about, in the presence of mine enemies, my trials, my tribulations, the things that come against me, I'm standing firm. I am strong. That's what that table is. Thou anointest my mind with knowledge, my being, my entire being overflows with the light of truth. Thou anointest my head with oil. Thou anointest my mind with the knowledge of truth. What is truth? What is lie? What is hidden? And my cup runneth over. My entire being, spirit, mind, body, soul, overflows with the light of truth, the good light. Surely goodness and mercy and righteousness shall follow me all the days of my life, or this incarnation. Surely goodness and compassion shall follow me all the days of this incarnation. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I will dwell in the protection. That's my house. It keeps things out, my space, my safe space. I will dwell in that safe space of my mind forever. And that mind that gives forth the light of goodness and truth. Be wary of the false light. One of the false lights is the image that I first showed you. That image of a person. All matter is corruptible. All matter is corruptible. Basically, I am here to tell all of you that you can break free if you dig down deep and find that spark within. You can accomplish anything, and you can get rid of those chains that have weighed you down forever, and the ones that you think come and creep up on you that you're not chained down. Every time you feel like you can break free. If you dig down deep, you will be able to break free. I'd like to offer my assistance. Anyone out there who's struggling with absolutely anything, I can personally tell you that I have life experience in every trial and tribulation except for two. I have never experienced the death of a family member, mainly because I'm an orphan and I have no family. But so like all of that stuff doesn't exist for me. But I do have children, and I've never experienced the death of a child. So those are two things. But other than that, I pretty much have gone through every horrific life thing that you could think about. I've been through every trial and tribulation, and honestly, I'm here to tell you, if you dig down and find it within, you too can rise out of the ashes like a phoenix, stronger every time. And I'm here to tell you that if your life has been like mine, perpetual trial and tribulation of proportions that people can't even imagine, you're here for an extremely divine purpose. You are here to learn and love all of those people that you went through that with, and your light is intended to shine so brightly and give hope and help to others. That's why you're here. So if you have led a life that has been nothing but struggle each step, just know that you can break free. The things will still happen. Things are still going to happen, but you will be able to float, literally like float over top of them. You do what you can humanly do, and you put it out there and say, look, done, finished. Put it in the hands of God or goodness. God just stands for goodness. They took out the extra O in there, okay? The good. It'll all be okay, but we have to stop giving our energy and our light outwards to some unknown out in space. No. No. Redirect it inward to inward where the light is sitting. You're a piece of that infinite light. Turn inward and worship that light that you're a part of. And I promise you, I'm speaking from experience now. I've been financial, marriages, divorces, extreme sexual molestation, beating, physical abuse, mental abuse, homelessness, absolutely everything. I'm an orphan. I found my birth mother who gave me away, but then she rejected me again, so it was like double time. Bam! But all of that was for a reason. I'm here to tell you, though, anything that you come across, the harder that it is, that means that you have a greater purpose ahead of you, and your purpose is to help others, to help shine bright enough to others who don't have that much strength, who can go, wow, somebody can go through all of that and still be happy and loving and want peace and still have compassion. Then I know I can do it because I'm only going through this and this. That's how I get through everything in my life that I've ever been through. I've always said, Kath, you know what? This is horrific. However, somewhere else in the world, all over the world, there are many other people who at this very moment are suffering so much more than you are at the second. So that's, it can always be worse. It can always be worse. So grab onto the good, break your chains, dig down, love yourself, and love others unconditionally. Please listen to this song. That's it for this video. And as soon as this one's done, I'm just going to quickly upload because I know I'm late on doing the sacred secretion timelines. So I'm just going to go ahead and put up August and September timeline sometime today so that everybody has their times. Much peace, much love. Make sure that you subscribe down below. Click the backup channel. Subscribe to the ARC 2 channel because like I said, who knows? Before this video gets uploaded, I might not, I could be down. Who don't know. Don't really, I don't want to have anybody miss out on stuff, but don't really care. That sounds cold. What are you going to do? Like, I have all my videos backed up. I'm good. I'm gradually uploading them over there. All for a reason. If this one gets shut down, just means that it's time for a purging and a cleansing and a renewal. All good. I'd rather not. I'd rather, stay. But what is, what is. I love you all. Peace, love, compassion, and break free. Dig down and break free.
When hope and love has been lost and you fall to the ground, you must find a way. When the darkness descends and you're told it's the end, you must find a way. When God decides to look the other way and a cloud takes the throne, we must find a way. Face the firing squad against all the odds. You will find a way. Dig down, dig down, dig down, and find faith when you're close to the edge, with a gun to your head. You must find a way. When friends are thin on the ground and they try to divide us, we must find a way. We have entered the fray and we will not obey. We must faith when they've left you for dead, and you can only see it. You must find a way.